whoever the creator is, the center of our universe, we know that he is giving us this opportunity to breathe. We are breathing, okay? Precious Mother Earth has went through a lot. We have gone through a lot as human beings. So it is so important that we understand that we must take the time to breathe, to relax, not to put ourselves up under too much pressure, too much stress. When you have something that's too much, be still, be quiet. Take a couple of deep breaths, find a space, and exhale, okay? And I'm not talking about the movie. So my name is Nana Zakia. I am going to be your co-host for the afternoon. I just wanted to say that we're waiting for the military to come. We have some soldiers that are on their way, so that when we raise the flags, we can remember all of our ancestors, all of our fathers who fought in wars, who never really got the benefits, the veteran benefits, never really got the Purple Hearts or the Golden Cross, but they were the ones who fought for freedom, for democracy, and for the protection of our country, of our communities, and of our families. So we're a little bit running behind because we're waiting on the military and one other two people. And I just wanted to say I wanted you all to breathe, to relax, okay? And we'll get on with the program. Baba Tunde is here. Brother Santos is here with the drums. Sister Deborah is here. You are here, we are here, the Creator's here. Each and every one of us. There's about 21,000 ancestors behind us. So even if we're looking at this place called the Harlem State Office Building, where Malcolm stood, Pork Chop Davis, where Kwame Nkrumah came, okay, where Maya Angelou danced, here as well, where Dr. Ben taught, where we had the Tree of Life bookstore. Know that we have 21,000 ancestors behind us and many, many honorable ones who come from Harlem, who decided to make Harlem their home. Harlem, I call it the international, 125th Street to me is the international crossroads of black culture. Everything comes from here. Our hip hop, our blues, our jazz, our stories. So know that our ancestors, Malcolm is here, Kwame Nkrumah is here, Pork Chop Davis, Daddy Grace is here, okay? Tree of Life, Brother Michaud is here, okay? We have Paul Robeson, he lived here. James Baldwin, we have Langston Hughes, okay? We have all these ancestors who made 125th Street their pathway and their soapbox, they used to call it. Get up on your soapbox. And what did that mean? That means you got up on some milk crates and you was able to espouse to the people exactly what it is of what was going down in the community and what they could do about it. Okay? We didn't have to have a permit from the police. Okay? We were the sound permit. So know that we are on sacred ground. I'm going to be pouring libation. Again, my name is Nana Zakia. And I am here, and I am honored to be here in Unity in the Community, Inc. at this event, because this is what I've been about all my life. I grew up in Harlem. I grew up in the projects in Drew Hamilton, 144th Street and 8th Avenue. And I can't understand the madness how children are going in these projects, because when I was coming up in the projects, we would leave Drew Hamilton to come over to St. Nicholas to party. Then we would leave St. Nicholas and then we go to Grant. Then we go to Manhattanville. But we was going to have fun. We was going to parties. We was going to the basketball games. We wasn't like, you from St. Nicholas don't come to True Hamilton. Who said so? Everybody's parent pay rent here. Nobody owned nothing. We just wanted to have fun. I'm not saying we didn't have no fights or nothing like that, because that's happening when you young people. You got stuff going on inside you, and you're being tested. Okay? Your metal is being tested. So we had our little fights, we were arguing, but we didn't shoot one another. Because if I shoot your son, then your mother is crying. Then your sisters and brothers want to have revenge on me. Then we don't know what the potential of that child may have been. They could have cured cancer. They could have cured diabetes. You understand? They could have been an Obama. So we have to understand, when we was coming up, life was taught to us that it was very, very important. And we're here for an important event. Our ancestors fought for the emancipation to be free. And they needed that freedom to be able to give the fruits of who we are and how we are here today. So with that, we're going to raise a flag. We're going to let the banner flag fly, the blood-stained banner. Remember that song, the blood-stained banner? That's our blood-stained banner, the red, black, and green. The yellow is for the golden sun. We are the center. It gives us our colors, gives us our energy. It is the center of our universe. It's all the planets. So we're going to raise that flag. We're going to remember those ancestors who were not free, who suffered, who never saw freedom, but cried for it. And then the day came, and it was their reality, and they manifested it. So just relax a little bit. Enjoy the drumming. I'll be back. I'm going to pour libation. I'm going to turn it over to Deborah. And as I said, we are on sacred grounds. Enjoy yourselves. Peace.
I'm just going to go and get the gun. Okay. Hello, I would like to welcome everyone that's out here today. Thank you for the official Juneteenth flag raising. We're a little bit behind schedule. We're waiting for the military, but if the military is not here to show up, then we're going to improvise and do it ourselves, okay? Because enough time has been lapsed right now. So now, I just would like to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Deborah Oguama. I'm with Creating Unity in the Community. I am the founder and the CEO. We do community events, Kwanzaa events, and I'm also a member of National Juneteenth Foundation Observance. We are the ones responsible for the legislation that was passed in order to make this an official Juneteenth federal holiday. So I would like to thank everyone. And I met a gentleman that was the founder of NJOF. His name was Doc Myers. Doc Myers was from Mississippi, but Doc Myers was responsible for the 48 states that had a Juneteenth observance. So he was the one that really pushed us forward. And Doc knew everything, okay? He knew if somebody was on 125th Street selling his t-shirts. But Doc was all the way in Mississippi. I said, Doc, how you know somebody's out here with your shirts, okay? He said, I know. I know exactly what's going on. So with that said, we're having this event and not straying away from Doc's vision of integrity, of honesty, that no politician will run or be in charge of the Juneteenth. That is for the foundation and for the community. It's not for one individual, it's for all of us. And there's so much more behind the Juneteenth, as far as legislation is concerned. You're talking about critical race theory. You're talking about researching our history. But just not for us as African American to be proud of, but it's to also teach all of America exactly where we are and the contributions that we have made for the 400 years that we have been here. So it's important for others to know so that we don't have a lot of uninformed or misguided people that don't know, whether they black, white, orange, regardless. People need to know and celebrate and pay homage to their history. And we are the ones who built this beautiful country. We are the ones who should have all rights. So behind this Juneteenth, in the next couple of years, a lot of y'all will be hearing about the reparations, because the reparations is about that. So if you recognize Juneteenth and all of the contributions behind Juneteenth, the Emancipation Proclamation, then you have to recognize reparations as well. And there's so many people across this country that's working tirelessly in order to make that reality a fact. It's not to take away anything about America, but it's to put us in our rightful place. Another vision of Doc was also to raise that Juneteenth flag at the at the Statue of Liberty. Now that didn't happen this year, but we are hoping and praying that that will happen. We was just in talk with our mayor about raising that flag at Exchange Place, Wall Street, because that was another vision of Doc's, to raise that flag so that people will know and recognize that we never, ever, ever have to go back to being on an auction block or giving away our talents that we have. So it's very important. Also, with this year of Juneteenth, recognizing Father's Day, okay? Hey, Father's Day. It's a special blessing of the freedom of Father's Day. One of the very first Father's Day was celebrated during Juneteenth in the state of Texas, okay? So we're recognizing that. And this year we're calling of all religious institutions to also place General Order number 3 on their doors so that everyone understands what the 12 freedoms are and what we are still fighting for today. This was the 12 freedoms that we gained after the Emancipation Proclamation. And some of these 12 freedoms we're still not liberated with. We're still fighting for. We didn't have the right to even put clothes on our backs. We could not grow our own food. We could not be educated. We could not name ourselves. Hello. And of course, we didn't have no part in the legislation or any political aspects of that. So there's a lot going on. And even me putting on this event, there has been a lot of obstacles, but glory, glory, you gotta wake up early in the morning and start mapping out and praying that it's gonna happen no matter what. And it has, and it is. So even though we're a little bit behind schedule, I'm gonna turn it over to our host, Nubian, and we're gonna start the program, and by that time, Sister Sakia should be back so she can do the libation. Thank you.
Give a round of applause for yourselves just for being here. had a thought in my mind I just couldn't keep in. So I wrote this rhyme for those still sleeping. Like a zombie, a dead mind is thinking comatose from 400 years of tears and hypnosis. Don't mean to pick the mic up and cause a controversy, but it's a strange situation in the streets today. People dying with the line because they're trying the wrong thing, and at this time I'm forced to lift my voice and sing. Don't listen to the riffing that the villain is kicking. It's written for the victim whose wisdom is missing. I'm dissing so you listen. My vision is building. I'm driven from my mission, which is strictly large living. That is part of the poem called Be All You Can Be from the compilation album If the Ocean Had a Voice, which is part of the Middle Passage project. And I give thanks to all those who died in the Middle Passage coming over to Africa in slave ships. We're going to start the libation. Yes, give them a round of applause because some of them decided to jump rather than be a slave. And speaking of ancestors, we're going to invite the ancestors here by pouring libation. Zakia.
Thank you. Let me get the water. I'm gonna need somebody to hold this mic. We don't have a stand, right? To use the bell. Okay. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Okay. That's good. That's a good value. Okay. I'm gonna pour a libation. We all know that water is the true elixir of life. Ashe? Without water, none of us would be here. Without the oceans, without the seas, without the rivers, without the lakes, without the trickles of the little brooks, without the wells of waters underneath Mother Earth, if it was not for water, everything that on this planet would not exist. And since our bodies is 90% water, it's only appropriate that we use water when we want to pour libation in a sacred ceremony. It just means that we are giving honor to the source of life, and as like water, we gotta flow with it. Okay? We gotta go with it. And it represents also the living waters within human beings. So when I pour libation, I'm giving thanks and praises first to Mother Earth, because she embodies everything and she also is our final resting place. Then I'm going to do the 4 directions, then I'm going to do above, then I'm going to do below. So, I want to first give thanks and praises to the creator of all life, because they gave us water, the elixir of life and the maintenance of this Mother Earth, and I poured because without it, no one is here. Ashe? I pour this water in memory of all of our ancestors. This is a time where you'll sit here and you'll meditate about your own ancestors, say their names. And this is for our familiar ancestors, for each of us. I'm going to be quiet for about 30 seconds because you're going to be saying the names of your ancestors within that 30 seconds, and the drums is going to call them in. Ashe? I call on our righteous ancestors that they come this day. Houston, Edward Green, yes, Lucy Green,
Selma Jones.
Harriet Tubman, Sonia Turner,
Powell Jr.
Frederick Douglass,
Nelson Mandela.
Malcolm X, Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba, and all of our ancestors' names and unnamed. Now, I'm going to pour for the four directions. I go to the east first because that is where the sun rises all over the world. The east gives us a chance and opportunity to see a new day, to take advantage of that day until the ending of that day and the sun in the evening sets down, so you can reflect and use that day as you have been destined and have the faith and the wherewithal, the family and the love and etc., to face that new day. So each day we give thanks for the rising sun. At the end of each day, we give thanks to the setting sun. Not just because we're finally getting out of school, not just because we're finally getting off of work and we ain't got to hear the boss, but we give thanks for the end of the day because it gives us time for us to reflect on what we did within that day, how that day turned out for us, what we can do in order to prepare ourselves for tomorrow in this present time, to have that time for assessment. So we give thanks and praises to the West because as the sun sets, it also gives us time to rest, to assess what we've done for the day, and to know that we have the future which will come in the morrow with the next rising sun. I'm going to turn this way to the south. Play the drum. I'm going to turn this way for the south because the south gives us the warm winds. As the further south you go, the warmer it gets. You get to the equator. You start getting past North Carolina and you get past Florida, and next thing you know, you're in Cuba. The next thing you know, you're in Haiti, you're in Dominican Republic, you're in Puerto Rico. Next thing you know, you're all over the Caribbean island, you're in Jamaica. Next thing you know, you're in Trinidad. The next thing you know, you're everywhere where it's warm and comfortable. And the breeze of the summer comes and it brings that warmth and it makes the earth to grow. So we give thanks to the south, to the continent of Mother Africa, who is the center of the world. I do the north last. Why do you do the north last? The north is a very cold place. It's a very isolated place. And even in the Bible, and anytime you read about someone who has wisdom, they climb to the white tops of the mountain. This is why we get our gray hair. Because we've climbed from the valley of infancy, going all the way up to our various rites and stages of life. And if we're lucky, we get the crown of the white hair. And anytime somebody's really looking to be a Buddha, to be a shaman, it's not by chance that they go to the mountains. Because in the mountains, that is where God is. He is in the highest place. He is looking above over you. And so the north represents the God. And the Native Americans say that they have the land of the God because it's the coldest place and it is the whitest place amongst the earth. And they say that God resided there because humankind had forgotten what he had made them for and got caught up in their own ego. and the nations were divided, and no one was protecting each other, and Mother Earth began to cry, began sick, and she could not take care of us. So God went furthest to the north to stay away from man, but he can still send his prayers to him. And those who make it there and live there know that they have went to the extremes to find the God and give thanks for being alive. So we give thanks to the Northwest, because that is the furthest place of which God resides on this earth, to look over all of us in all directions. So we say, thank you for the North. Give thanks to the earth, thanks above, thanks below, and to the circle of life. And to all the ancestors, and to everyone who is here. I'm going to play a little bells with the drummers, and as they play, I'm going to play my bells, and that'll bring in the power of the four directions, okay? So it's only going to be the bells and the drums.
Give her another round of applause. Give your ancestors another round of applause. My name is Nubia, the MC, another component of creating unity in the community. Now, please welcome Esther to the stage. You're going to read, she's going to read as a part of this program the flag raising ceremony, about Juneteenth flag raising ceremony, about the National Juneteenth Observance Foundation, and the history of the Juneteenth flag. Okay?
Greetings. My name is Esther Seabrook. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. My name is Esther Seabrook, and I'm here to represent my organization, which is called Blacks in Government. Blacks in Government was an organization that was started in 1974 in Maryland. It was started because although we work for the federal government, we weren't getting our proper recognition with raises and different jobs that were available to us. We've been a great advocacy program for all of the governmental agencies worldwide. One of our most prominent things that we do is we have a National Training Institute every year, and we go to different cities so that we can help them build up their communities. This year we will be in Cleveland, Ohio from August 13th to August the 18th. Now I will read the history of the Juneteenth flag. The Juneteenth flag was created by the NJOF Massachusetts Juneteenth State Director and founder of the National Juneteenth Celebration Foundation, NJCF, by Ben Haith in 1997. The flag underwent a revision in the year 2000. The symbols were a deliberate process so that all Americans can recognize American freedom and African American history. The banner with the bursting star in the middle is a symbolic representation of the end of slavery in the United States. The white star in the center of the flag has a dual meaning. It represents Texas, the Lone Star State that goes beyond representing the freedom of African Americans in all 50 states. The bursting outline around the star is inspired by a nova, a term that astronomers use to mean a new star. The Arc 24, the curve that extends across the width of the flag, represents a new horizon, the opportunities and promises that lay ahead for Black Americans. The red, white, and blue represent the American flag, a reminder that slaves and their descendants were and are Americans. The flag was revived in 2007 to include the date, June 19, 1865, commemorating enslaved African Americans in Galveston, Texas, to learn about the Emancipation Proclamation. Hayes says, this country has so many aspects to it that are spiritual. Believe this flag is of that nature. It represents modern day design, did not stop the spearheading of the historic first Juneteenth flag raising ceremony at the Dillaway Thomas House at the Roxbury Heritage Park in Boston, Massachusetts. The tradition of raising the Juneteenth flag has grown today as a reminder for all African Americans that they are still fighting for equality and justice. Hayes said those colors symbolize the continuous commitment of people in the United States to do better and to live up to the American ideal of liberty and justice for all. The Juneteenth flag raising ceremonies have taken place throughout June in communities across the nation. Okay, next I will speak about the American flags of freedom. Flag raising is in memory of the Reverend Dr. Ronald V. Myers Sr., MD, born February 29, 1956, and died September 7, 2018, who was the founder and chairman of the National Juneteenth Observance Foundation, NJOF, a member of the National Black Evangelical Association, founder and chairman of the National Juneteenth Christian Leadership Council, president of the American Pain Institute, API, and president of the Black Doctors Matter, BDM. National Juneteenth Observance Foundation, which is NJOF, founder, the late Reverend the late Reverend Ronald V. Myers Sr., MD, introduced Juneteenth to 43 states and the District of Columbia. Reverend Myers' vision became a reality June 17, 2021, as President Joe Biden signed the Juneteenth National Independence Day legislation with NJOF board member Ms. Opal Lee at the table. The Juneteenth Nation goes forth to educate the world on Juneteenth and the many hidden stories as subject matter experts on Juneteenth, who is responsible for the education of department managers regarding the procedures such as programs, flag raisings, publications, etc. What made an impact that unifies America for that day? In a holistic approach, they must ensure the observance for all of America. While days of observance must be a uniform procedure, holidays do not have this mandate embedded in their structure. In the case of Juneteenth, the National Juneteenth Observance Foundation, NJOF, is the recognized subject matter expert. We have a hand in defining of the governmental policy on Juneteenth. While there are many organizations involved in Juneteenth celebrations and commemorations, NJOF has been instrumental in the passage of more than 43 pieces of state legislation, the Library of Congress, and the 400-Year Commission on African American History recognizing Juneteenth. Juneteenth is internationally recognized in Africa, Mexico, Guam, and Japan, among other countries. The United Nations additionally has named Juneteenth, June the 19th, as World Sickle Cell Day. Thank you.
Give Esther a round of applause. She did well. Now we're going to have a cultural expression by author Florence J. Mills. Bring a warm welcome and a round of applause, Harlem. She is going to entertain you and be poignant with her poetry.
How's everybody feeling? Oh, today my poem for you is called Black and White. I'm caught up in a web of lies that many of us is caught up in. It is so deep that now I can't see color. It is a condition that affects many of us, but we choose to live in denial. I choose not to live like that anymore. I will live and face the truth of my existence. I've gone to the doctor. They can't seem to find what is wrong with my vision. That I can only see black and white. In my color blindness, I'm finding it hard to survive. It's getting difficult, but I'm trying to use my other senses to stay alive. As my other senses are sharp, it will lead me to the truth. It goes like this. I have to go way back to understand this condition. I ascertained the situation since I could only see black and white. The rich doesn't understand the poor because if they did, they would have to share. They need more money, more power, and more respect. To seize another property, to obtain more land become the norm. To invent a weapon that is known, not known to many, like a volcanic explosion, to kill and to conquer. To invent a foreign weapon, unsuspected to civilization. To seize another being's possession and call it your own. Oh God, now I'm seeing black and white. Yes. Whoa! A community well established where everyone knows their place, full of gold, copper, precious stones, fertile and green, sunshine where gods and goddesses were born. Live in the Nubian people, melanated they are called, lives in laughter and order. Everyone knows their place. Such was the way of the people. Nothing is to remain the same again. As my vision getting foggier and foggier, I'm totally losing my color pigment. I'm reduced now to black and white. Trust was the way of the people. Trust. They trust the universe was them. To prepare for the great deception. They wasn't ready. They wasn't ready for the great deception. The danger of opening doors for foreigners who travel to a newfound land to marvel at the seven wonders and marvel at its amazing beauty and decide to own it and its people. and put a flag and call it their own. The desire to put a flag on it and call it their own, for they must conquer and own everything. My vision of black and white, I'm trying to focus, but I still can't see. They want it all, pretending the love of them, to learn their secrets. Then they introduce them to the big boom, gunpowder. In return for their kindness, for letting them in, gunpowder. As bodies scattered, lives lost, nothing will ever be the same again. The quiet, spiritual people where was organized, wasn't ready. Gunshot pervade the air. The greatest lie of mankind, the lust for money, power. The strangers, brutes, try to conquer as many people as they can. Land where more people, more power, more respect. The root of all evil, money. The beast was born, slavery. Some of the Nubian people called black people was put in slave ship, as we know, the Middle Passage, on a ship, slave ship, stuffed with like sardines, beaten, raped, sodomized, to be sold like goods. The Middle Passage, where our ancestors went far away place, never to return to the motherland. Ancestors, some of them died from this deadly voyage, thrown themselves in the river, died from this deadly voyage. Reason must be given why. The atrocity of mankind. So black became inferior. Black became a curse, a beast of labor, free sex, everything. Stolen, geometry, science, art, strip of inheritance. A land, no land, just a beast of labor. The lies cover the universe. The lie covered the universe until the freedom riders who fought for the universe to regain this legacy of the revolution. The French Revolution, the first was Haiti. Toussaint Louverture, Dessalines, Tutman Tutu, who took back their land. They were sodomized and beaten, but they fought back and won, the first country. Then the other people said, oh my God, if Haiti can do it, we will fight back. So we got Harriet Tubman, Medgar Evers, Fannie Lou Hamer, Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth, John Lewis, Webb Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Ida B. Wells, Thurgood Marshall, Steele, John S. Rick, and many, 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 many more people who are still fighting for the right, for freedom. So Juneteenth, my ladies and gentlemen, is only the beginning. We will continue to fight until we can see color and racism is gone, because we can't see color. We can't see color. We can't see color until racism is done. I'm only still seeing black and white. Thank you. This is from Los Angeles 2020. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent.
We're going to now stand and sing the United States National Anthem. 1, 2, 3. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed, while the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streamed. spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. I can do poetry better than I can sing. Now, yes. About the proclamation itself. Whereas on the 22nd day of September, in the year of our Lord, 1862, yes, a proclamation was issued by the President of the United States containing, among other things, the following, to wit, that on the first day of January in the year of our Lord, 1863, all persons held as slaves within any state or designated part of a state, the people whereof shall then be in rebellion against the United States, shall be then thenceforward forward and forever free, and the executive government of the United States, including the military and naval authority thereof, will recognize and maintain the freedom of such persons, and will do no act or acts to repress such persons, or any of them in any efforts that they may make for their actual freedom. That the executive will, on the first day of January, at first said by proclamation, designate the states and parts of the states, if any, in which the people thereof respectively shall then be in rebellion against the United States, and the fact that any other state or the people thereof shall on that day be in good faith represented in the Congress of the United States by members chosen thereto at elections wherein a majority of the qualified voters of such states shall have participated, shall, in the absence of strong countervailing testimony, be deemed conclusive evidence that such state and the people thereof are not then in rebellion against the United States. Now therefore I, Abraham Lincoln, President of the United States, by virtue of the power in me, vested as Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy of the United States in time of actual armed rebellion against the authority and government of the United States, and as a fit and necessary war measure for suppressing said rebellion, do on this first day of January in the year of our Lord, 1863, and in accordance with my purpose, so to do publicly proclaim for the full period of 100 days from the first day above mentioned, order and designate as the states and parts of the states wherein the people thereof respectively are in this day in rebellion against the United States, the following, to wit, Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, except the parishes of St. Bernard, Plaquemines, Jefferson, St. John, St. Charles, St. James, Assumption, Terrebonne, La Fourche, St. Mary, St. Martin, and Orleans, including the city of New Orleans, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia, except the 48 counties designated as West Virginia, and also the counties of Berkeley, Accomack, Northampton, Elizabeth City, York, Princess Anne, and Norfolk, including the cities of Norfolk and Portsmouth, and which accepted parts are for the present left precisely as if this proclamation were not issued. And And by the virtue of the power and for the purpose aforesaid, I do order and declare all persons held as slaves within the designated states and parts of the states are, and henceforward, shall be free, and that the executive government of the United States, including the military and naval authorities thereof, will recognize and maintain the freedom of such persons. And I hereby enjoin upon the people so declared to be free to abstain from all violence unless in necessary self-defense. And I recommend to them that in all cases when allowed, they labor faithfully for reasonable wages. And I further declare and make known that such persons of suitable condition will be received into the armed service of the United States to garrison forts, positions, stations, and other places, and to man vessels of all sorts in said service. And upon this act, believed to be an act of justice warranted by the Constitution, upon military necessity, I invoke the considerable judgment of mankind and the gracious favor of Almighty God. In witness thereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the United States to be affixed. And this was done, brothers and sisters, at the city of Washington, D.C., the first day of January in the year of our Lord, 1863, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 87, by the President Abraham Lincoln. Give it a round of applause. That's the proclamation of Juneteenth, the Emancipation Proclamation. Now, we're going to do honor our ancestors and recite the Negro National Anthem. Lift every voice and sing. 1, 2, 3. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven.
Skies, and every sound
for that. You may be seated. Is Eric Stevenson in the building?
In the plaza.
In the plaza. Eric Stevenson? Okay.
Nobody in the building.
What is the Ma'afa?
Little passes. That's next.
Robert Fields Jackson, please approach the rostrum. Robert Fields Jackson, please approach the rostrum. Tell him what organization you represent, and please address the Juneteenth festivities. Give him a round of applause, Harlem.
How you doing, Harlem? When I say June, y'all say team. June? Team. June? Team. June? Team. My name is Robert Jackson. I work for the City Councilwoman Chris Wilson Jordan, District 9 right here. We just shut down the 145 project with the help of the community. We here to represent for Juneteenth, celebration of African American people in this country right here. We believe in unity in the community. We offer that information with Christopher Hall on the website as well. I'm the community liaison. So thank you, Sister Deborah, Sister Nubia, the whole Harlem.
People coming up.
Young people, make sure you got there and vote as well. That's coming up. Remember, make a living and make a difference. Shout out to my man Tom for New York State Senator office, Cordell Clear. Very more infinite news, and everybody else that came out today. Rest in peace to Isis as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're about to raise the flag. Usually it's done in military style, but the military is a no-show, so we're gonna have to just make a. You pray. We're gonna have to just make a. You pray. Hello. Yes. We the soldiers. We got real soldiers right here. I have to call you right back. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all.
Round of applause for the flag being raised, the Juneteenth flag symbolizing our freedom. Bring to the rostrum with a round of applause, Harlem, Tamani. Tamani, come to the rostrum, come to the microphone. Round of applause, Harlem, for Tamani.
I'd like to pay special homage to my godmother, Juliet Domingo O'Connor. I'm going to share this poem that she created. I would like all those to have a seat. The title of this poem is, Have You Seen My People? Have you seen my people? They come to this new land in which I reside, and they do not seem to know me. They don't seem to remember that we all come from the same homeland. They tell me now that they come from this island and that island, this country and that country. They do not see me as their kind, but they are my people. Have you seen my people looking the other way? Not understanding my land as it is today, but they are my people. Have you seen my people trying to forget, not caring if we ever met, but they are my people. We mate and we have children. Tell me now, what do we call our children? A long time ago it was said we would not speak the same tongue and we would not know one another. That prophecy has been fulfilled. I have witnessed the outcome, the confusion, when our children do not know who they are in a land where all blacks are equal. When you see my people, tell them for me that the seeds of our forefathers have been scattered through many lands. And it doesn't matter where we come from, we are the same race of people. When you see my people, tell them I am they and they are me, and we share the same blackness. Tell my people I understand. I can see through the maze of false values that separate us from the spiritual forces of our forefathers. Tell my people one day we will all understand and come into our common bond to love one another and share each other's knowledge. When you see my people, tell them that the spiritual forces of our forefathers is running through our veins. And I love them as one day they will see me and love me. In time, we will unite and spread love, the vibration of the universe amongst all people. Peace and many blessings.
What is the Ma'afa? The Ma'afa is a Kiswahili term for terrible occurrence or great disaster. It refers to the Black Holocaust when millions of Africans died during the journey of captivity from the west coast of Africa to the shores of America known as the Middle Passage. Our ancestors died in the belly of slave ships or chose death by jumping into the sea rather than living in captivity. It is a remembrance of the thousands of African Americans lynched and murdered before and after the end of enslavement. This especially includes the Red Summer of 1919 and the Tulsa Race Riot of 1921, considered the worst domestic terrorist event in U.S. history. Congressional testimony and newspaper reports from the era, the Equal Justice Initiative has documented more than 2,000 black victims killed during the Reconstruction era from 1865 to 1876. This is a staggering figure compared to the more than 4,400 victims have been documented for the 74-year era of racial terror lynching that spans from 1877 to 1950. Beginning in the year 2000, the historic National Juneteenth Black Holocaust Ma'afa Memorial Service took place at Lincoln Park United Methodist Church in the District of Columbia. As International Day for the Remembrance of the Slave Trade and its abolition was established by the United States Nations in 2002 and is now observed annually on the 23rd of August. Another celebration of the revolt and abolition of the transatlantic slave trade in 2008 in Dallas, Texas. As stated by the late Reverend Ronald Myers Sr. in 2011, as the descendants of Americans of African descent, our ancestors were brought to America in chains. Millions lost their lives during the Middle Passage, not to mention the thousands killed in the lynchings and murders before and after the Civil War. One ponders as to why so little attention has been given to our own history of death and destruction in America. History reveals that George Washington was a slave owner. Thomas Jefferson was a slave owner. Many of the founding fathers of America were slave owners. The U.S. Capitol and White House were built through the uncompensated labor of the ancestors of Americans of African descent during the tyranny of enslavement. In terrible occurrences, we have embraced the term Ma'afa, a Kiswahili term meaning disaster, to tell our own story about our enslavement and the sustained attempt to dehumanize us. The day was established in recognition of former Congressman Tony Blair's efforts to pay a congressional apology for slavery. Many Americans who would rather ignore history than embrace the truth. Introduced twice by Congressman Hall, the U.S. House of Representatives passed legislation for an apology for slavery, and Jim Crow, sponsored by Congressman Steve Cohen, Democratic of Tennessee. Similar apology for slavery legislation that was passed in the U.S. Senate, sponsored by Senator Tom Hawkins, Democrat, Iowa, in 2009, but failed in the U.S. House of Representatives. Dr. Myers was appointed National Advisory Chairman of America's Black Holocaust Museum by the museum's founder, the late Dr. James Cameron, a lynching survivor, was encouraged by the Senate apology for 13 lynchings during the week of Juneteenth of 2005. In 2013, the service continued as the National Juneteenth Ma'afa Memorial Week laying ceremony and continues annually during the National Day of Reconciliation and Healing from the legacy of enslavement. The day is also recognized as a National Day of Remembrance of the Ma'afa in America and occurs every year on the 18th of June during the week of Juneteenth in America. In 2014, the historical Omaha Juneteenth Mahatma Memorial Reconciliation and Healing Prayer Service took place on the steps of Omaha City Hall during the week of the observance of Juneteenth. The service was a remembrance of the Red Summer of 1919 and the horrible lynching of Will Brown during the Omaha race riots of 1919. Since the Emancipation Proclamation, black economic progress is still waged in senseless killings. The federal government has not been able to protect black rights and stop white supremacists. The saturated acts of violence domestic terrorists have committed against black individuals and communities continues to flourish in our country. A time to heal, a time to pray. My name is Nubia the MC, and on behalf of Deborah Ogarama and creating unity in unity, I want to thank you for all coming out to the Juneteenth celebration. I'm going to bring Deborah Ogarama back to the rostrum. You all enjoy the rest of your afternoon and give yourselves in the event a round of applause.
Okay. I hope y'all enjoyed it. But we have one more speaker. And they are from the Boogie Down Bronx. Back in the days, it was the Black Spades. Monroe Projects, Southview, Castle Hill, Frog's Neck. All right now.
I'd like to thank Sister Deborah for having us out today. But before I start, I want to introduce my brothers.
Good afternoon, my name is Evaristo Roman. I'm president of the Ghetto Brothers from South Bronx. I guess you wondering what Puerto Ricans doing here? Well, we do not deny our black heritage. Because we are also African American. That is our bloodline also.
Get to marry.
Good afternoon, Queens and Kings. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdul. I'm the president of the Chief family from the Bronx, and I'm glad to be out here with you all to support Tuesday.
My name is Marion Frampton. I'm called Tiny. I'm the president and founder of TBS New Direction. TBS New Direction is the Black Spades. And as my sister, and we'd like to thank Sister Deborah for having us out here today. I had my brothers introduce themselves because we're all former gang members, and we put a coalition together of United You Stand, United We're Stronger. We're bringing it, we got from Yonkers to Brooklyn. We got organizations that's standing with us because of the things that's going on in the streets today. But I want to talk about Juneteenth Day. I appreciate it. We all recognize Juneteenth. It's long overdue. But I say to my brothers and sisters, let's not forget. And let's not forget the struggle that's still ahead. Because we still have a long way. They love to give us things, and we're going to take it. But they love to give us things and hope and pray that we forget about where we at. We still have to fight for housing, education, and to be free. And if we also have to realize that we have to develop our own economic system. And only then will Juneteenth mean something to all of us. So I'm not going to get up here and make a long speech because I can keep going. But Sister Deborah, thank you. Thank you for having us. And like I said, we're all former street gang members. And today we're on this street trying to make a difference. Thank you. We're going to be over there. We're going to be on the 11th over 138th Street, St. Anne. They have a block party. That's where the Spades are from. Mount Haven and Patterson.